Welcome to the Ray Festival live in Bulgaria and online wherever you are in the world.
Good morning to all of you. It's a full-time job, is to embrace really what we really are. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of dedication, you know. And what I'm saying here is that what I'd like to tell you is that how I feel that we really should live to honor who we really are. And one thing Rai used to say is that this is an expression that it really is in my mind, is that we need to embrace our chart. And to embrace our chart, for me, of course, at the beginning, I had doubts, okay? I have to live and to follow my life strategy and my authority. But it's much more than that. That is the beginning of everything. Of course, that after I had my reading, and as Mar said, I am a projector. I am here to be invited, and I'm here then to follow my authority, which is wait for emotional clarity. And that, okay, I start practicing that. Not is that easy, as we know, because it requires a lot of patience. And as you already know now, I was, and I still am a business consultant. And all my life was through taking the initiative, follow your mind. So when someone tells you have to wait for the invitation, it's not a straightaway thing that you start incorporating in your life. But yes, I really try to do it, you know. I remember that, okay, I have a mind. I like to think about what am I going to do with this? How am I going to put this into practice? Okay, I have to experiment. I have to listen to the recordings. I have to know the knowledge, but I need to do something. That was the way I thought. So I went by stages and I said, okay, I realized that I have this roadmap. But as Ra also said lots of times, this is just a piece of paper, okay? It's a piece of paper that gives me a manual, of course. It's a roadmap, but I have to really go deep into this. I really have to understand and experiment. How can I do this? Not understanding in the way of rationalizing, but have like a, that's why I did it. I'm not saying you should do it that way, but that's how I did it. That was my experience. So I'm going to try to really focus on something that allows me to, bit by bit, with patience, with dedication, with experimenting, obviously, to fill this map that is here. And to surrender to that, I said, okay, so where should I, how am I going to do it? What can I do to begin with? And obviously was my mind. I was looking at my mind and I said, okay, I keep thinking and thinking and thinking, and that's not a bad thing if I decide what am I going to think about, okay? But I can tell you that I spent like probably about a year just observing my mind. And you say, that's crazy. Yeah, but it's true. You know, we're talking about 2004, not 2024. 20 years ago, we didn't have all these tools that we have in gadgets and internet and podcasts, and it was a little bit different. So I had to get my strategy. I started studying. I was already studying human design and other aspects of my business work, but I said, okay, so I have to focus my mind. My mind has to be busy doing the right things. So I'm going to observe my mind, and by this observation process, every time I realize I am thinking about what to do with my life, or when I realized I was trying to use my strategic mind to plan my life and to think what I was going to do next, I would say, no, stop. That's not your job. Your job is to study, is to work, is to help other people when invited. So I did this, and believe me, it took me probably more than a year just to really get good at observing my thoughts, okay? This is not an easy job. And you say, is this that important? For me, it was, because as Rai used to say, and that's what we learn in Living Your Design, and also in every the training we do next, is mind is not authority. Mind is not authority. So I said, okay, how can I learn how to wait for emotional clarity if I am aware that my mind is still in control, is still trying to do all the work in my life? So I said, no, let's do the experience. Let's go into that. And as you know, probably most of you know, by looking at my chart, I am an abstract person. And being an abstract person, it means that I have to learn through experience. I have to go through the experience. It's not just thinking about or creating just a pattern. No, that's not the way I work. Okay, mainly I am an abstract person. So I said, okay, I can go through this experience and then look back, observe, and learn with this experience. And that's what made me realize that it really could put, like, I usually say that after this process, I learned how to put my mind serving my true self. Of course, my mind is part of my true self, but she was like observing and serving my true self, my identity. She was not the leader anymore. And that made me feel really, really more relaxed, more aware, if you can say that. Of course, that we know that having emotional awareness is still a long job, and that's why I keep saying that I'm still learning, and probably until the end of my days, obviously. But for those of you who understand a little bit of human design, you know that being an abstract means that you really have to accept that that's why I gave the name about the human experiential way, because only when you go through the experience and with time, and it takes a lot of time, being an emotional person, being a projector, a triple split, all of this, it takes a long time really to get to know yourself and to have the peace inside that you are entering into the right things, the correct things. And I also have the 30 gate in my personality sun. And this gate, it took me a long time as well to really accept it. You know, that's for the first thing. The first thing is to accept it, is to accept your chart, okay? Because we are what we are. And if we don't really accept that, there's no way. I keep saying to my students now, there's no point where I'm going to get a pen and color my centers or change some of the gates. It's impossible. You were born like this, and unless you really surrender to the experience and you put all your attention in every little detail you can see here in the chart, that you really can live in this situation. I'm a projector with success, and for me success is just feeling that I'm just achieving what I'm supposed to be, and really then just fulfill your job, your role into the world. And for me, because I am as Mar said, I am a certified analyst, I am a teacher, I'm in charge of the training in Portugal, and this is for me a lot of responsibility in a good way, not in a bad way, which is I have a role model, I am an example. So it's really important that I am completely aware of my chart. I'm completely aware of putting this into action. It will never work, and I am in my current phase already, as I said. So it's even more delightful for me to see how this really works. If you really put your effort, your dedication, your time, all your heart, everything in this, and really make this happen in all this chart, that's when you really are nurturing yourself, nurturing others, and there's nothing more beautiful. For me, this is love. I always sign any email I send, any document I send to anyone, I always sign with love, because that's my expression. I feel that love is this. For me, to love is not necessarily cuddling, or that's good as well, but that's not what I'm saying. With love is to really fulfill this chart and be living my nature, being completely aware of my nature, and then being aware that's the nurturing I'm bringing to other people. And that's what really makes me feel the success. The balance for me in life just comes from surrender, from accepting what it is, to follow my nature, to honor my nature. And as you probably are already noticing, what my focus is, and I'm talking now, is about everything that is colored in my chart. And what's colored in my chart is my definition. And what's my definition? That's what we call in human design our nature. And after I realized that with the training, with the first levels, the foundation trainings, I said, okay, well, I go by parts. Of course, I know I have to see the big picture, obviously, but I will focus in some parts of my chart. And now I'm going to dedicate to this area, then I'm going to dedicate to that area. For me, the nature is the one we have to, as I used to say, we have to sit in our nature, okay? We have to sit there comfortable and trust what is consistent in us. That's why, for me, I really have to go through all this experience of really understand the solar plexus, the root center, the all the other centers I have defined, and the life force, the channels, obviously, because I realized it gave me the strength, the consistency to then to deal with my openness, because that's what I realized. If I really know my definition, that's why I started by my definition. It gives me the strength because it's consistent, it's reliable. The expression Ra used to say is written in stone. That's what you are, and that's it. So if we leave that, we can deal with the openness, because as we know, and Ra used to say as well, that nurture here is what's not defined in us, our openness, for those who don't know. It is very attractive because Ra used to say, I will never know why, but everybody wants to be not self. Usually I say, well, my experience, I have one explanation. I'm not saying it's the only explanation, but I have one. Because it's easier to live the not self. It's hard work to live the true self, and the true self is to live the definition in the openness. Because as we always say, and I always say that our definition, our nature, is here to live in balance with our nurture. We are meant to connect. Now, we are going to receive the nurturing of other people, and we learn with openness. I learned how to deal with other people's egos when I realized that, okay, I have an open ego. I can learn and I can deal with other people's egos much easily now. So that's okay. But we don't, that's the thing, that we should want to interfere. We shouldn't interfere with the process. It's just observing, rely on what is consistent, observe the nurturing. I love the word nurture, because we all are aware how important food is. I always, for a long time, I realized that it's very important that I choose the right food for me. So if I choose the right food for me, of course, sometimes I make mistakes, obviously, I'm a human being, but I try to eat in a healthy way. So if I choose the right food, why should I choose the right people, the right nurturing that I receive in my aura, if I know now everything is related with aura, with my aura? So this is even more important than anything else. So that's the thing. So, and as we know, how do we get the right nurturing? Living out our definition, our life strategy, our authority, and everything I've been saying. There is nothing wrong with us, that there is nothing missing in us. And if we live out all this, the nurturing is correct for us. That's why in this slide here, I like to do this. When we trust our nature, there is no negative conditioning. That doesn't exist. That's just conditioning, and we pull the right people and opportunities, and we nurture the world with healthy nutrients, because that's what I was saying. Because if I am with the right people, I am being nurtured the right way, I am living out my nature even more consistently, and then I give the nutrients to the world. One of the risks I see here, if we don't trust our nature, we think we do, but we don't really know yet how to do it. We are always interfering. We think we don't know, we are not interfering, but we are, because we are still making decisions with the mind. Rai used to say that to live what we are in our chart, our nature, what's consistent, in balance with our nurture, we really have to take the journey of experiencing without the interference of the mind. But that's what we said, that usually the mind wants to take advantage of the knowledge and control. We cannot allow the knowledge we have in our mind to interfere in the decisions we make when having the nurturing. This is very important. We have to trust the mechanic, because Rai used to say that this slide I wrote here, for the vast majority of people, the planet has no real pleasure in what it is to be in this life. And it's not good, because we are meant to live a good life. A good life, it doesn't mean we're going to have to be rich and famous and prettier, but we have to live our poetry, as you used to say. This is very important. And if this sadness, this depression, illness, frustration, everything we have here, it takes a long time to decondition. And only if we take the advantage of our nature is that we do this. It's very important for me. And this slide I wrote here can really speak because I think it's very important. To honor your nature, you have to be brutally honest and courageous. If you don't really take the courage to go through the process and to be patient and to wait for the results to happen, it's not going to happen. This is very, very important because the mind is almost almost all the time criticizing, and people around us are very critical about lots of things as well. So as I said, we have to use our mind to really help along the journey. This is very, very important. Okay, it is what it is. We have no choice. This is our chart, and with the times coming, as we know, 2027, I really believe that the only thing we can really do is live our true self, is to honor our nature, is to accept that we are here to learn with our nurturing and just love ourselves. That's what I really believe. Okay, bye. Take care.
Thank you for being with us on this journey at the Human Design Rave Festival 2024.